Hey everyone, it's Tucker from Oxvlog, and I'm here today with Aparna from Stanford. Oxford. I never wear this. It's actually hers.
Spoiler alert, he's wearing my sweatshirt because he didn't get his braces one. You're not even repping. He's not repping. I know. I'm found out.
We're here today because we're talking about the American student perspective as exchange visiting student versus actual full-time Oxford student.
Yeah, we're the imposters here apparently.
So there's definitely, you know, so of the Americans at Oxford, there's a really big contingent of students coming from American universities like Stanford. Fabulous places.
Columbia, Harvard,
Williams,
yeah. There's a whole flock of us just like running around.
There's actually more visiting students that are Americans at any given time than there are American undergraduate students.
Wow.
And then there's a whole flock of us, I mean, not really a whole flock, but there's some of us like me. There's only about 50 students a year who are American full-time undergraduates.
Only 50?
Here. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's really small. Yeah.
They should be more.
50 in a year, so like a total of like 150 across the university-ish, maybe 200. It's really, really not that big. So I'm just gonna ask Aparna some questions about what it's like to be an exchange student here at Oxford. And I'll just talk about what the difference is between being, I guess, you know, the difference between being an American exchange student versus being an American full-time student here.
Right.
And I thought that'd be an interesting video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And as always, let me know what other videos you wanna see from Oxvlog.
Yeah, give them some Ox love.
Yeah.
Anyway, question one, let's get to it.
Okay, so I guess I'll just start. What was the application like for you to come as a visiting student?
So at least for Stanford, so I can't really speak for like the other American colleges, but for Stanford, you have to apply 2 quarters in advance. So say I came here in the spring, so I had to apply in the autumn, which is about like 6 months before the actual thing. And it's surprisingly very easy. I know the Oxford application for like full-time American students is really hard, but for us it was kind of really easy. You just had to, of course, give a personal statement why you want to do it, answer a couple of questions, and then there's an essay that you have to respond to, and then you have to write a proposal for your tutorial. Like there's a tutorial system where you kind of like a one-on-one with a tutor discussing any research topic or anything that you want to do. Personally, I'm doing a creative writing tutorial, and so in that I guess application, I proposed what I wanted to write about and what I wanted to focus on this quarter, and I guess they liked it, and I'm here now, so yay.
So my understanding is that for most of the people who are exchange students here, it just depends on how long their course is. So a lot of the ones that are doing shorter courses, like just term long courses, like most of the Stanford students, they do kind of that shorter application. So if you're coming from a school that does like a full year-long program at Oxford, I think like Williams, for example, then they have to do like a more thorough application because they're like here for the whole year, and I think, you know, are a little bit more integrated with the rest of the student body. That's one of the things. Just wondering, you know, how would you say that, how integrated do you feel with the students here?
So here at Stanford students, we have our own house. So we live in a Stanford house. So all our classes are taught in the house. So we eat here, we sleep here, and we're taught here. So even if you wanted to talk to Oxford students, you have to kind of take the step to go to your college, to eat in the hall, to make friends. So we get Oxford parents, so 2 people from your college. So I'm going to Braces right now, where Tucker's from, and I have 2 amazing, lovely parents who kind of like help me, take me to formal dinners, help me learn about different Oxford traditions, about Braces College and whatnot. But it's a lot harder. I would have preferred us living on the college grounds in the college itself, because that would be nice. You get to talk to the students more. There's definitely a distance, I feel like, just because like we don't get to see them every day. Sometimes you could just stay in this house all the time, because it's a great house.
I guess somewhat unfortunately with a lot of the visiting student programs here is most of them have the visiting students living with the exchange students.
Yeah, like seclusion, like not seclusion, but you live amongst yourself rather than
so like there's like a Stanford house. I know Williams has a house. I don't know if I know a lot.
And the Columbia has one too, I think.
Columbia has a house.
Yeah.
So there are definitely some colleges, some programs. I don't know exactly, but you can look it up online, and there are certain ones, and I'll probably put it in like a link in the description where you can find more information about this. Only a couple of them will you actually get to live in college accommodation, and even then, I think it's like not the main site accommodation, like an annex, where but at least it's with other like regular Oxford students.
It's kind of disappointing, but like at the same time, if you wanted to, you can go out to Brasenose every single day, eat there every single day. But we have a really nice kitchen, so sometimes we just cook inside here, and it's fun. And so you can invite people.
Definitely, if you're thinking about trying to come to Oxford from America or just not from the UK, you're thinking of coming either as an exchange student or a full-time student. If you do care about living and living in the college and really integrating with the community, then I would definitely recommend doing the full degree.
Like actually being an Oxford student here rather than a exchange or visiting student. Because I'm only here for 1 term, which is 3 months. There are some who are here for a year, but even then that's not a lot really.
Yeah, I mean, there are people here, I mean, I think most of the visiting students are here for more than just 1 term generally. And the ones that are here for a year, I think do get probably a little bit more integrated.
Yeah, they do. Like all the Columbia students know the best places to, like the best restaurants and the best pubs.
Have they been here for a year?
We went on a crew date with them and they were wild. Like they're like, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. Like, okay, you guys are the experts, clearly.
So what would you say the college town here is like compared to an American college town?
Like some American colleges I feel like are better. Stanford is notorious to be called the bubble. So we have a thing called we call Stanford the farm, and we live in a bubble because Stanford, we have our own police. Well, we have the campus police, we have our own fire station, we have a grocery store that you can go to. It's expensive, but because it's California and it's Stanford. But there's restaurants, like we have literally all the facilities that you can have. We have gyms and all that, so you can stay on campus for very long and not go into Palo Alto or San Francisco. And even then, Palo Alto is very, very expensive. That's where everyone from Google, Facebook, that's where they live. And so it's very expensive for a college student. So it's not like Oxford, where you can go out and like get a cheap meal for like pretty good cheap meal for like without breaking your bank, like unlike you could do in Palo Alto. But yeah, I think I would say Oxford has a much better college town vibe than Stanford does.
The thing about Oxford though is it's a city of almost 200,000 people.
Yeah.
And
I mean like this part that we're living. Like we're living in the main downtown kind of area.
And there's about 20,000, a little over 20,000 students in total, who are Oxford students, both undergraduates and graduate students. So definitely you see students all the time everywhere, especially in the center. So it does really have that college town feel, but I think it also has a bit of a bigger city feel than a lot of college towns. Because it's unlike Cambridge, if you're considering like Oxford versus Cambridge. Oxford definitely is like a bigger place. Yeah,
you just meet regular folk like here, which is pretty hard to get at Stanford sometimes. Just like going to Palo Alto, you're like, these are the people who work at Google and Apple, and you're just like, Silicon Valley, yay! But like, and of course there's always the anomalies. Like,
where are you from in the States, by the way?
I'm from Baltimore. So
okay. I'm from Detroit.
There we go. Well, very, very different from the places we are now. But like, it's some things like what I love at Oxford, like going down Cowley Road and going to all the different grocery stores that are there. Like there's
a Korean grocery store.
There's a Russian one. There's another Eastern European one. There's an Indian one. There's so many different ones, and like there are people from all walks of life that you will see there. You can also see that at Stanford, but this is more so of like a college town. People actually live here. These are their homes. They're raising kids here. And so it just seems more normal.
I feel like Oxford is like, it almost has somewhat of the feel of a city university because of how it's set up, but it also has a really cute college feel, especially because the buildings are so gorgeous. And like,
a friend of mine was like, I wish like I was a kid and I could have grown up here. Like, it's a nice city to grow up in. Like, if you could afford it, like it's pretty good.
And I guess compared to Stanford or some more rural American colleges, it definitely has more stuff. And I think compared to some more city American colleges, like if you're considering like New York City colleges or Berkeley, it's probably a little slower, but it's still a big city. It has everything, and it's only what 50 minutes on the train or an hour and 10 minutes on the bus to London. So
what's great is that the same thing with Stanford, like you could take a 45-minute train to San Francisco, and the same thing here, you could take a 45-minute
train to London. Yeah.
To London, and it's great because you could just go there on the weekends, spend a day in London. It's just great. You get to explore.
But this is actually like.
But Oxford itself is so much to explore. Like I have barely cracked the surface. I only have a few more weeks here, which is really sad. I know.
Tragic.
Tears.
Our term is going to an end.
I know, it went by so quickly.
First year.
Yeah.
So I guess the next thing I'm gonna ask Aparna is, what do you think about interacting and meeting Brits here, British people? And I guess just like people in general, like compared to the non-Americans, let's go with that.
So one thing that we had an orientation here, so and one of the things that they had in a Britishness talk.
Really?
We had a Britishness talk, and one of the things that they mentioned is that they're like,
we didn't get any of that. We had an international orientation day, like one day, before the normal orientation started.
Oh no, they told us like, so they eat these things called digestives.
Yeah,
and you think that they will be really healthy cookies, but they're just chocolate cookies, and you're like, I love these, this is not good for me, but I love them. But anyway, they were telling us about like, so British people tend to be, and of course there's generalization, like this, there's always nuance, but they said like British people tend to be more reserved and like quieter, like, you know, so sometimes Americans being loud and like very, very friendly can like make them like shirk away a little bit just because like they're not used to it. So they're like, so they told us tone down a little, tone down, like, you know, being so like loud and like, you know, out there. But I feel like I don't know, among college students, like it's nice to like, if you want to meet, like we said, if you want to meet Oxford students when you're a visiting student here, you have to make the effort to get to know them, and the best way to do that is just going to these events and saying hi.
So the thing is, if you come as a visiting student, you're likely going to be assigned college parents, which is a thing we have at Oxford, which means that there'll be students, probably 2, maybe 3, who are going to be like looking out for you when you come as a visiting student, and will be there to help you out with questions and just get you to meet people and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's, you know, it's kind of like a, a big buddy, like big brother system.
Right. So if you're in America and you go to like frat, it's like you're big in a frat or a sorority, but much better. And I've been traveling a lot. So like Chaka was telling me beforehand that apparently we Stanford kids get to travel a whole lot.
She's literally traveled in this one term more than I've like traveled around the UK, because when we're here during term time, I mean, I feel very integrated personally into like the Oxford student community, and because of that I'm always busy like with events or have work to do on campus. And
you're part of clubs, like we're not part of any clubs. I mean, I guess you could be like theater clubs here.
Yeah, you can.
I try to be part of polo, but it's ridiculously expensive.
There's I have a friend who is a Williams exchange student, hi Miranda, who is actually on the committee for one of the major political societies. She's on the Lib Dems, Oxford Lib Dems committee.
Yeah. She's here for a year.
But she's been here for.
I'm only here for 3 months. So like even if you became part of a club, it's like, how much are you really going to get out of it when you're here for such a short time? So that's something you also want to look at when you're thinking of what you want to apply as, whether you want to do a full year, just a term, you want to be a full Oxford student. So just like keep that in mind when you're looking in when you think of applying.
So yeah, where have you gotten to travel around the UK?
So been to London, of course. I've been to Bath.
I've never been to Bath.
I've been to Bath.
We're so close to Bath. I've never been to Bath.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been to Cardiff.
Never been to Cardiff. I'm hopefully gonna go to Cardiff next week, maybe.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I've also, so they took Stanford, because it's amazing, took us out to the Garsington Opera, which is the middle of like farms, I don't know, by like, I forgot the name, but of this really rich oil family. They own the opera house there, and they own all the land nearby, and it's utterly beautiful, and there's beautiful gardens, and so they took us there, so that's great. They also took us to Guernsey.
Yeah, I want to go to Guernsey.
We had an island getaway for a weekend.
The thing is, if you do come as an exchange student, you're going to get an opportunity to do lots of. I think the program that you'll come on will give you the opportunity to travel around more,
especially with Stanford.
A little less busy, and I think this is just speaking in general. They'll probably organize things for your group of exchange students where if you're coming as a normal student, you really have to make those opportunities yourself if you want to travel around. So that's one thing to keep in mind, definitely. how much tourism you want to do
Right.
during term time.
And that's one thing that I kept in mind. I was like, I definitely know, because like here, people usually, what's pretty popular within the Stanford program is to take one seminar class and take your tutorial. Because that in itself is a lot of work, but but your classes are spaced out so much that you can still travel a lot. So you could, if you wanted to travel to London every week, like Emma does.
Yeah.
Hi Emma.
I have a friend. Another friend. I have a friend. I have one friend.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we have a friend who's from Stanford.
Lives.
Who's here this term, who goes to London quite a bit. And actually I had a Stanford child, because I'm also a Stanford parent, last term, who was always traveling around Europe every
and what's amazing, there are some people who've been to Berlin and Amsterdam and Paris, and just like they're going to Florence, and like some people are going to go to Greece for a week after finals. So you get, like, if you have the visa, if you have the visas, if you have the right passports, and if you have the money and like the ability to go, then you can go. Like, and it's amazing, because the great thing about living in the UK is that you have access to Europe, and you can go there. I think Oscar Wilde said the best thing about Oxford is Paris, because you could go to Paris every weekend.
I've looked it up on Google Maps. It takes us to, like, if I wanted to go from Brasenose College, my college, directly to the Louvre, it's 4 hours and 30 minutes in public transportation.
That's like me driving from Maryland to New York by car. Like, what? It takes me a 6-hour flight to go from Baltimore to San Francisco. So in that time, I could be to Dubai right now, like in
probably.
6 hours.
So yeah, one of the best things about being here for university full time is that although I don't really get to travel as much during term time, I've made it a point to travel before and after, making the most of.
So do you have any travel plans now?
Do I have any travel plans? Well, like, for example, I went immediately after I got out at the end of last term for spring break. I went directly to the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
And then I was in the Netherlands and Belgium, and I was briefly in Germany for like 10 days. It was really lovely.
Briefly in Germany for 10 days?
No, for 10 days overall. And I went to Germany for like 6 hours.
10 is not brief.
For 10 days overall, that trip was 10 days roughly.
That's cool.
So it was really fun.
Yeah.
So it definitely, you get to make the best use of cheap European train and plane tickets.
Yeah.
So what would you say that your classes are like, and how do they compare to your classes at home?
I feel like,
I mean, I guess I can talk about this as well, because I think that visiting students, exchange students in general at Oxford, get kind of like an Oxford like light, or like diet Oxford.
Diet Oxford, oh my god. No, like Oxford Zero.
Yeah, like Zero. Because the thing is, they get to like do Oxford style classes here, and do you get actual Oxford professors and stuff like that?
Yeah.
For some of their classes generally, but it's like not the same classes we're doing. It's not the same classes we're doing.
It's like the classes that we have are great. The selection is really great, but you can only take a few to, like, if you want to maintain your sanity and like be able to travel and like not be overworked. Like, it's very popular to just take one seminar class and to take your tutorial. Some people do directed readings every now and then, or do classes back home at Stanford, take an online class, which is you do you, and some people just have to do major requirements, but usually it's just the seminar class and tutorial. The tutorial system is amazing because as a writer, it's nice to have like a one-on-one attention about your writing, and it really helps. I think to me, it really helped me grow as a writer. And I think for my seminar class, I'm taking a class in Shakespeare. I don't do theater. I don't go to see plays. So I'm totally like a fish out of water in this class, but it's amazing. Harry is amazing. He's just a great professor. Yeah.
Is that your professor?
He's at Exeter, yeah. He's a postdoc at Exeter. So
how it actually works for teaching in colleges for normal undergraduate students is that your college will be responsible for organizing your teaching. So you'll have like a representative in your college who is contracted by your college to monitor your subject and like get professors around Oxford to do the teaching for the students at your college and your subject. So I would imagine that it probably works the same-ish way, that if you are a visiting student, you'll have a representative who contacts professors around Oxford to get that you
Yeah,
get teaching for you.
like
So it's
our
not
director does that.
too different. It's just unfortunate that there's no integration between the exchange student education and the actual student education.
Yeah.
That being said, one of the really big parts of the Oxford education is the lecture. The lecture series are.
Sometimes we had some, like today we had one in this room at Stanford. So sometimes we hold lectures at the Stanford House and people.
So the really great thing though about the lecture series at Oxford is that anyone, visiting student, full-time student, can go to any lecture series that is run by Oxford University professors. So sometimes we're like required to go to certain lectures for our courses, but the thing is like anyone can go to those lectures that are required like for me to go to, and I can go to lectures that are like, you know, obligatory for anyone else if I just want to learn more about the thing, or
which is great. And it's also like something that you don't really do at Stanford, just because you asked me about like what's it like here, the classes here compared to Stanford. Stanford's very, very hectic. Like it's very busy. People are like, it's also because like there are clubs, and there's like you try to take as many units as you can to get your major done, like and whatnot. And especially being sophomore and junior year coming up, like it starts to get really crazy. And so like you're always running around. Sometimes you have meetings at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or then you stay up until like, in my case, 5 a.m. doing something for the newspaper. There we go.
So we just got kicked out of the room that we were in.
Because they're about to have a lecture, so.
Yeah, literally we were literally talking about how they do lectures at Stanford.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be edited probably a little bit, so yeah, do you want to hold it?
Yeah, okay, there we go. But yeah. So I guess we're just gonna wrap things up and give you guys a quick summary of what we just talked about. So I guess just in general, if you're thinking about coming to Oxford from America, or if you're considering an American university versus a British university and are interested in, you know, coming to Oxford at some point, there's definitely a differing experience that you'll have if you're a full-time Oxford student versus being an exchange student here. But the thing is, there's such a diversity of exchange programs. I think that every experience is slightly different, and I hope that by hearing what Aparna had to say about the Stanford exchange program, you can learn a little bit more about what an exchange program is like, and also I hope you heard a little bit from me about, you know, my perspective as an American student. I'll put some links in the description of the videos that I mentioned, some of the things that I mentioned. Make sure to check out more videos on the Oxvlog channel, the rest of the Oxvloggers, and also our Instagram, the Oxvlog Instagram. Yes, definitely.
Do you have an Instagram?
Yes, well, everything's gonna be down below, so you guys should follow, comment, let us know what you want to learn about more.
Yeah, and let us know if you have any questions about the international student experience, either as a visiting student or as a full-time student, and we'd be happy to answer them. You'll answer some of the comments, I'll answer some of the comments, and it'll be really good.
Cool.
Anyways, thanks for watching.
Thanks for tuning in. Bye guys. We gave you guys Meghan Markle.
We did. We graced Meghan Markle.
I went to the royal wedding.
Did you really?
I was there at the gates, and she was 5 feet away from me as she went by on her chariot, and I was just like,
"This is the best thing."
Oh my god! Drink water.
Is this my water?
It is your water.
Oh, okay.
I refilled it. You know, you gotta take the water break. We are professionals here, you know. One time we were walking by a like street or bar, and like I guess like we were being the loud Americans and this one British dude who was drunk said, "You students," and just like walked past us, and we're like, "Hello there, good night to you too." But yeah, it's a great city. I like Oxford. I think
we keep it child friendly on this channel.
Oh, sorry,
I'll bleep you. Yeah, we'll bleep you.
Oh, let's do that.
More work for editors.
Sorry. You have 2 more years. I also have 2 more years now. I'm a sophomore.
Oh yeah.
I have
We're
2
gonna graduate
years.
at the same time.
Yep, that's gonna be great. What?
Who are your college friends?
Megan and Tom. They're amazing. They're so sweet. Megan and Tom, if you're watching this, thank you guys. Hello.
No, none of the students watch my vlogs. No.
Really?
I mean, people who are in my vlogs watch my vlogs, and then like I think our main audience, hi if you're out there, are students who are applying to Oxford or thinking about applying to Oxford. So please apply.
Definitely should.
Great
Go
place.
for it. Yeah.
Place for Americans too.
Yeah.
And also people from all over the UK, all over the world. So.
I haven't posted in a long time, but I will, I promise.
She's a notorious Harry Potter fan.
I am. Oh my god. Oh,
I don't know if that
you guys
influenced your
aren't
decision
ready.
to come to Oxford or not.
Yeah, but definitely check out the channel
I'm
if
gonna
you
be
want.
honest, Harry Potter maybe influenced my decision to come to Oxford.
What? Oh yeah, if you're a Harry Potter fan, definitely just visit Oxford. Like, come on, like you gotta.
You have to be here at some point.
I definitely did that my first few days here. I was like, oh my god.
All the Harry Potter things. There's tons of Harry Potter things here.